Hi, this is Joe Ziemba, the host of When Football Was Football here on the Sports History Network. Aside from my podcasting duties, I'm also a sports collector. And as such, I'm very pleased to share the exciting news that the Sports History Network has partnered with Rochester Sports Autographs, the largest JSA authenticated autograph distributor in the United States, where you can get deals on over 30,000 autograph sports collectibles. So as a collector, I was very pleased when I visited the site of Rochester Sports Autographs. The massive inventory is easy to search, carefully documented, and visually appealing. The options seem limitless, whether you're looking for an autographed baseball, signed football helmets, or basketball jerseys, among thousands of others. I found everything from a Babe Ruth autograph, a signed football by Dick Butkus, and an autographed Larry Bird basketball jersey. And as a collector, you'll be delighted with the very competitive pricing on JSA authenticated products. Made possible since RSA deals directly with athletes, so there's no extra markup, and the savings are passed on directly to the customer. Perhaps you're looking for an early gift for Mother's Day or Father's Day. Heck, who needs a holiday as an excuse to give a piece of sports history to your loved ones? Or how about yourself? Today seems like a great day to add to your own sports collection, right? RSA even has film, music, and other entertainment autographs on the site, so there's something for everyone. All orders from Rochester Sports Autographs are top quality and shipped to your door with top authentication and a money-back guarantee. And to make sure RSA knows that the Sports History Network sent you, we created a special link for you. All you need to do is head to shoprsa.com/SHN. That's shoprsa.com/SHN to get your own piece of sports history today.
Now it's time to take a sports break, a look at sports history on a daily basis. Hello, my friends of sports history. This is Darren Hayes of the Sports Jersey Dispatch podcast. Welcome once again to the Pig Pen, your place for all things great in sports history. And welcome to your sports break for this April 5th edition, as we will talk about some of the greatest events in sports history and some of the greatest athletes that perform these events, along with their jersey numbers. And we are sure glad that you were able to join us here today as we go through this journey together. And make sure that you know that you can follow up this journey each and every day. Actually, you'll start off this journey with our newsletter. Comes out each and every day, 6:30 a.m. Eastern, into your email inbox. Only if you sign up. It's totally free. You can cancel at any time. So easy to do. You can go to our show notes of this very podcast, or go to pigskindispatch.com or jerseydispatch.com to subscribe to the newsletter. Now, the great events that happened on April 5th. Start off with the Bambino. April 5th, 1925, it was a big scare in the world of baseball when Yankee slugger number 3, Babe Ruth, collapsed in a preseason exhibition game against the National League's Brooklyn Dodgers. Now, doctors had recommended that the Bambino not make the trip south to play the game, but he did it anyway, knocking in 2 home runs over the wall before what ended up being the symptoms of an ulcer. Yeah, the Bambinos had a little bit of a drinking and smoking habit, and I guess it caught up with him, along with the stresses of the fast life that he lived. There's even more news on Babe Ruth for this April 5th. This time in 1934, it was the day when he received a contract on NBC Radio Weekly in 3 15-minute audio broadcasts for the lofty sum of $39,000 over 13 weeks. Now, this was $4,000 more than the Yankees were paying him to play for the entire baseball season. Well, let's go to the world of basketball. April 5th, 1967. How about another great one? Wilt Chamberlain, number 13. He hauled in an NBA record 41 rebounds against the defending champion Boston Celtics that day. Number 13 also scored 20 points as the 76ers handed the Celtics their third consecutive loss with a 115-104 final score in the Eastern NBA playoffs. Also, April 5th marks a day of one of the great football innovators. Yes, Glenn Scobie Pop Warner. Now, we're not going to talk too much about Pop Warner because we have quite a bit going on over on our Pigskin Dispatch side. Today releases, the big episode we've been advertising about with historian and biographer of Pop Warner, and also who hails from his hometown of Springville, North New York, and that is Jeffrey Miller. He wrote a great book on Pop Warner, on the life of the gridiron, and you can make sure you can check out that great podcast over pigskindispatch.com or your favorite feed. Should be able to find it very easily. And we'll go into April 5th on, speaking of some football news, 1973, the National Football League officially adopted the numbering system for players that included having quarterbacks be 1 through 19 and the other playing positions having ranges of uniforms of numbers as well. Now, we know this has been modified a little bit a couple years ago. They opened up those numbers to make it so the playmakers had a little bit more of a reign of numbers. And just this year, 2023, the number 0 has been reinstituted, and just a few weeks ago, and we have a great episode on that, or actually a great post on that over on jerseydispatch.com. Welcome back, the number 0. Now, the inspiration for this next segment comes from the vintagehockeyjerseys.net. Now, they have some great things going on over there, talking about some day-to-day hockey history, and especially in the NHL. And we'd love to pick a few things from them that are going on. So make sure you check them out, vintagehockeyjerseys.net. For their dates of April. And we're going to go to April 5th, 1966, and the National Hockey League Board of Governors officially granted St. Louis a franchise to be part of the league's new six-team expansion in October 1967. And that team, of course, was the St. Louis Blues. And they were named after a W.C. Hardy song, the St. Louis Blues. Now, this day in hockey history, April 5th, 1970, the Chicago Blackhawks defeated the Montreal Canadiens 10-2, scoring a team record 7 goals in the third period, including another team record of 6 goals in a span of 9 minutes and 13 seconds. Now, that win clinched them first place for the Hawks, who actually finished last in the previous season. So last to first kind of scenario for the Blackhawks in beating a very good team in the Montreal Canadiens. Now, we have mentioned it errantly yesterday, Doug Favell having his birthday. Well, this hockey legend was born on April 5th, 1945 at St. Catharines, Ontario. He was the first goaltender to paint his mask, and we apologize for that error of saying that in yesterday's show. Now, another place we like to go is the 1980sbaseball.com. 80sbaseball.com is the name of the website, and that's our friend Jay Daniel has this site. We've talked to Jay on his great book, Sud Series, and Jay has a few birthdays from the 80s baseball. Major League Baseball players Rennie Stennett, Kim Allen, Jim Scranton, and Chris Carpenter all were born on April 5th, played ball in the 80s. Also, Greg Smith played for the Cubs, also born on that same day. And we had a big trade on April 5th, 1981. The Pirates traded Dave Dravecky to the Padres for Bobby Mitchell. And that was a pretty substantial trade. We also saw some signings. April 5th, 1982, the Baltimore Orioles signed Ross Grimsley to a free agent. He ended up going 1-2 in his final Major League Baseball season with the Cubs. With the Orioles. And the Orioles also signed on 1988, 6 years later, April 5th, Mickey Tettleton as a free agent. He hit 223 homers over the next 10 seasons. So that was a pretty good inking there by the Birds of Baltimore. And we also like to visit an NBA.com for this inspiration. 1981 on April 5th, the Philadelphia 76ers rejected an NBA playoff record of 20 shots in a 125-122 narrow victory over the Milwaukee Bucks at the Spectrum in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. This date in 1984, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had his skyhook working that day as they downed the Utah Jazz in Las Vegas to surpass Wilt Chamberlain's career total of 31,419 points, becoming the NBA's all-time scoring leader as the Lakers defeated the Jazz 129-115. Now, in April 5th, 1995, Charlotte limited the Philadelphia 76ers to a franchise-low 66 points as the Hornets won 84-66 over the visiting Sixers. Now, the two teams combined for a low score, 19 second quarter points. Not a very good one to be watching as a fan in that one. And that is our sports history on the baseball front, the hockey front, and the NBA front. And we want to go into talk about some of these great birthdays that we have today. How about this College Football Hall of Famer, born April 5th, 1951 in Owasso, Michigan. Michigan State Spartans hard-hitting safety Brad Van Pelt was born. The 1972 season for Brad was a special one as he earned one of his 2 selections as an All-American, also became the first defensive back to ever gain attention as the nation's best player by winning the Maxwell Award. Van Pelt ended up going into the College Football Hall of Fame in 2001. He was a 5-time Pro Bowler in the NFL as he played for 14 seasons in a combination with the New York Giants, Cleveland Browns, and the Oakland Raiders. And of course, we already told you about Pop Warner's birthday. You can catch up with more on that. We have multiple posts this week, including the big one with biographer Jeff Miller on the great football innovator. Now stay tuned tomorrow on JerseyDispatch.com. We have a really special event for you. We are going to have Paul Hembakides of ESPN, Hembo, who is Mike Greenberg's right-hand man on that show, Get Up. And him and Greeny wrote a book called Got Your Number, and Hembo is coming on to talk about this, and it really talks a lot about jersey numbers and legendary players. Something is right up our alley. I think you'll really enjoy that. That comes out on April 6th, tomorrow. So make sure you check it out on a Sports Jersey Dispatch podcast. We appreciate you tuning in today. Hope you join us each and every time that we have a new episode. And also, we thank you for joining this podcast and Pigskin Dispatch podcast as we try to bring you some of the great events and legends in sports history. So till next time, everybody, have a great sports history day. We're dribbling around and see the shot clock's almost out, so we got to put up our shot and come back tomorrow for some more great sports history. We invite you to check out our websites, JerseyDispatch.com and PigskinDispatch.com. Not only see the daily sports history, but to experience the preservation of great events and people that play the games. Find us on Pigskin Dispatch. It's also on social media outlets of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and don't forget the Pigskin Dispatch YouTube channel to get all your daily sports history. Pigskin Dispatch is happy to be associated with the Sports History Network, the sports headquarters of yesteryear, found at sportshistorynetwork.com.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Hi, this is Joe Ziemba, the host of When Football Was Football, here on the Sports History Network. I'm very pleased to announce that I will be partnering with the Sports History Network to give away 2 copies of my latest book called Bears vs. Cardinals, the NFL's Oldest Rivalry. To enter, just head over to the following link, sportshistorynetwork.com/giveaways. We hope you'll enjoy the numerous stories in the book, which is largely based on the newly released Dutch Sterneman collection at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Dutch was the co-owner of the early Chicago Bears with George Halas and kept correspondence, financial records, and scouting reports, which now allow us to peek into the management of an NFL club during the first few years of the league's existence. Along the way, we'll meet unusual gridiron characters from years gone by, including a quarterback who could throw the ball farther behind his back than he could throwing it forward, a Bears lineman who was such a good tavern fighter that he decided to enter the boxing universe, and a Cardinals halfback who gave up the NFL rushing title by deciding to not show up for his team's final game of the season. And can we forget the time the Al Capone mob interrupted a Bears-Cardinals game? The new book was fun to research, and I hope you will enter our free contest today. Once the winners are selected, we'll be in touch regarding shipping as well as to inscribe the book personally for you. This might make a perfect gift for Mother's or Father's Day, or simply add it to your own personal collection. Once again, enter by visiting sportshistorynetwork.com/giveaways. Thank you and good luck.